Hello everyone, for today's video, I'm doing something a little different. I'll be sharing with you my top 15 free-to-play Metroidvania games plus 5 special picks. So if your wallet is empty, this video is for you. Well, let's get into the list. At first glance, Frauki's adventure looks like a simple 2D pixel Metroidvania, but once you start playing, it quickly becomes one of the biggest surprises back in 2021. This game is easy to jump into. There are no long tutorials, and you already have all of Frauki's abilities from the start. You can just play and explore right away. The controls feel smooth and responsive, except for a few moments with ledge grabbing. Furthermore, the combat is really satisfying, and sometimes it gets very challenging. The game takes inspiration from Dark Souls, so when things get hard, beating them feels even more rewarding. In addition to that, the chiptune music fits perfectly with the vibrant pixel art and fluid animations. Everything looks and sounds alive. Imagine a game that mixes Fez, Psychonauts, and even a bit of Star Wars. That's what external visions as a Metroidvania feels like. The story is about mind control and brainwashing, and how the main character learns to control his own mind instead. Just like Fez, the game uses non-linear exploration. You can go many different ways, solve puzzles in your own order, and discover hidden secrets along the way. Most puzzles are fair and logical, though a few made me stop and think really hard. One interesting design choice is how powers work. You don't have access to all 3 powers all the time. Some areas and puzzles need a specific power or a combination of powers. This means you have to plan ahead, study the map, and sometimes backtrack to other rooms. Slumbering Feline is a short Metroidvania with a unique idea and charming pixel art. The game does have a big difficulty spike, especially after the floating jewel enemy appears. Enemies also respawn very quickly, which can feel overwhelming at times. Still, I found Slumbering Feline to be a fun and enjoyable experience. Even though the game is very challenging, it is still beatable. Luckily, there is no penalty for dying many times, so you can keep trying without stress. And right now, the gameplay feels a bit slow, and there are still many things that can be improved, but that's totally okay. This is a great start. Treasure Adventure game is absolutely amazing, and it's free. What starts as a simple 2D platformer slowly becomes more complex the longer you play. New mechanics keep getting added, and they make you explore the world again and again. Each time you return, you discover something new. The open world is fantastic. You can travel east or west and eventually reach the other side of the world. It really feels like one whole planet. The game doesn't hold your hand much, and while the hint system becomes less helpful later on, you still have a lot of freedom to choose what to do and in what order. Be warned though, the difficulty can be brutal. There are several big difficulty spikes that can feel overwhelming. This game can be relaxing, but it is definitely not easy. Garm Ruins is a solid indie Metroidvania that most experienced players can reach 100% completion in about 6 to 8 hours. The pixel art is mostly very charming. However, in one area, the Dead Forest, it can be hard to tell the difference between platforms and the background. On the bright side, the world design is excellent. Rooms are unique and landmarks make it easy to know where you are. I recommend playing on hard mode for your first run. The game is very forgiving when you die because it autosaves after every room. This makes boss fights challenging but not frustrating. That said, the game does have flaws. Since it was made by a small Japanese team, there are many small translation errors and typos. Thankfully, none of this breaks the story. Some games are hard to explain because they feel like a dream. Fourmiworld is one of those games. It's an open-world Metroidvania set inside an ant farm. You explore a strange, surreal world that doesn't always follow normal logic. Each area feels different, with unique biomes and very bizarre creatures. One thing I really liked about this game is that you start with all your abilities from the beginning. This lets you explore freely right away. And the art style, I love it. It's beautiful and full of personality. Sometimes it feels calm and pretty, and other times it feels strange and unsettling. I've only seen art like this in paintings before, so seeing it come alive in a game is amazing. Eldritchvania is only for a very specific type of player. If you love retro and confusing puzzle games, you might really enjoy it. If not, this game will seriously test your patience. Many people compare it to La Mulana, and that feels accurate. The game wants you to investigate everything, read a lot of text, and remember important clues. Thankfully, it saves your notes for you, so you don't need a real notebook, at least not yet. As a free game, it's a solid La Mulana style experience with good length and quality. However, the bosses can be annoying and the game really needs fast travel. Vitro is a free-to-play Metroidvania with a strong Metroid inspiration. The game's level design is surprisingly good, better than some paid indie Metroidvania games. The movement feels smooth like a modern game, but just clunky enough to keep that old-school feeling. This makes exploring the map really fun and addictive. On top of that, the game is short, about 3 to 5 hours, depending on how carefully you explore. And that makes it perfect for a single sitting. The biggest weaknesses, however, is the difficulty. It's too easy. Your character has a lot of health and can survive almost anything. It feels like the opposite of tough games like Hollow Knight. You don't really get punished for mistakes. Hargrave is a fun but brutal Metroidvania that will make you shout at your screen and say, "I swear I made that jump." If you think you're good at platform games, think again. You might fail the same level 30 times in a row before you finally escape with a perfectly timed dash jump. And when you do, you'll want to keep playing. And if you like the Mega Man X series, this game is calling your name. Overall, Hargrave is a smart mix of old-school Mega Man bosses, Metroidvania-style exploration, and tight platforming challenges. And like I said before, some sections are so hard they feel like Celeste-level platforming. This game is easily worth money, so the fact that it's free on Steam makes it an absolute steal. DreamWatcher is a 3D Metroidvania made by students at campus ADN, and for a student project, it's really impressive. This game feels like my ideal puzzle adventure. The mechanics are easy to learn, and the sound and visuals are bright and welcoming. Even though the controls are simple, the puzzles still make you think, which is exactly what I love in a puzzle game. After the tutorial, the game becomes very open. You're not forced to go in one direction. You can start in different areas and explore at your own pace. Combined with a large map, this makes the world feel immersive and fun to explore for hours. Overall, this is a fun puzzle Metroidvania with tons to explore and discover. It can keep you busy and thinking for hours.
It gave us another chance.
StarBreak is an old sci-fi Roguevania platformer MMO from 2016, and sadly, it really shows its age. The game is built around permadeath. You jump, fight enemies, and when you die, you start over. The problem is, the game pushes you toward its cash shop instead of rewarding skill and progress. To really play comfortably, you often need to buy upgrades or join a big group of players. But today, the player base is very small. That said, if you enjoy mastering difficult games, this one is for you. The hardest areas in the game are extremely tough. In fact, the hardest zone, called Elite Graveyard, was so difficult that it took teamwork from the best players in the community to beat it. Only a few people have ever completed it solo.
Our enemy is vast and his agents legion. But we can prevail together.
Ascent DX is a small but great example of what a Metroidvania should be. It does ability upgrades, backtracking, and an interconnected map really well, just on a smaller scale. There is no real combat here. Instead, the game focuses on smooth movement, clever mechanics, and smart level design. You keep unlocking new abilities, and each one lets you reach new areas. That makes the game feel exciting from start to finish, and you'll probably finish it in one sitting. This game shows that Metroidvania isn't about big stories or fighting enemies. It's about movement, exploration, and good level design, and Ascent DX understands that perfectly. Janosik is a really fun free-to-play Metroidvania. The gameplay is easy to understand, but the level design is where the game really shines. The stages are big, open, and fun to explore. You'll find gold coins and hidden treasure everywhere, and you can use that money to buy upgrades and new abilities. Each level is large and sometimes non-linear. Some doors only open from one side, kind of like Dark Souls. There are also secret rooms, fake walls, and optional paths full of treasure. Later, you unlock bombs that let you break certain walls and create new shortcuts. Exploring these levels is easily the best part of the game. You have to win. The game is a cool little retro Metroidvania with a minimalist DOS-style look. The game is short but sweet, and it's all about exploration and platforming. It looks like an old-school PC game, complete with a fake CRT monitor and classic pixel graphics. But the gameplay feels modern with tight and smooth platforming like games such as Super Meat Boy. Don't worry though, it's not nearly as hard as those games. You can finish it in about 1 hour if you stay focused. Checkpoints are generous and dying has no punishment at all. You might think a free game means low quality, but this one is solid and clearly made with love by someone who also grew up with early PC games. Before we get to number 1 on this list, I want to mention a special free-to-play Metroidvania that some fans may already know. Sadly, I can't share the link because the game is not available on Steam. Still, here we go. The Momodora series has been around for a while. The first 2 games are completely free, but I'm only mentioning the second game because it's the only one that truly fits the Metroidvania genre. The game isn't super hard thanks to lots of healing items and save points that fully restore your health. But the final area and the last boss do bring some real challenge with a bullet hell style fight that keeps things exciting. And of course, the game is short, about 1.5 hours long, but since it's completely free, that's honestly perfect. Back in 2007, indie developer Matt Thorson released a charming but surprisingly tough Metroidvania platformer called An Untitled Story. The game looks like a hand-drawn children's book with bright colors and simple art. But don't let that fool you. This is one of the hardest platformers you'll ever play. Be ready for trial and error. You will die a lot. Some areas may take many attempts to clear, but when you finally succeed, it feels amazing. It supports a gamepad, and honestly, I highly recommend using one. This game feels much better with a controller. As a Metroidvania, Knytt Stories is all about exploration and movement. And let's be honest, is there any move in gaming more satisfying than the double jump? Metroid made it famous. TF2's Scout made it fun. But in Knytt Stories, double jumping feels amazing. The game is simple, but very beautiful. The visuals are clean and colorful, and the music is calm and emotional. Some of the songs are even made by the developer himself, and they fit the game perfectly. And the best part? There's an official expansion with even more stories to play. On top of that, players have made their own levels too, giving you tons of extra content. The Lecarde Chronicles 2 feels like a lost Castlevania game from the 1990s. Seriously, if you put an old Konami logo on it, most people would think it's an official Castlevania release. But this is actually a fan-made game, and it's an incredible love letter to the series. The game mixes classic Castlevania platforming with some RPG elements from Symphony of the Night. The world is semi-open. You start in a small hub town, and from there you explore different areas, find new items, and unlock new paths. The structure is not a full Metroidvania like Symphony of the Night. Instead, it feels more like classic Castlevania with connected areas and light RPG elements. And honestly, that makes it feel special because games like this are pretty rare today. Another Metroid 2 remake, also known as AM2R, is a fan-made remake of the classic Metroid 2. The story is still the same. Samus is sent to planet SR-388 to eliminate the Metroids before they become a threat to the galaxy. You land on the planet and begin your mission right away. Visually, the game looks like a GBA-style Metroid game with detailed sprites and colorful backgrounds. It looks much better than the black and white look of the original Metroid 2. Overall, AM2R is a fantastic remake and easily better than the original Metroid 2. It's short but fun, polished, and full of love for the Metroid series. If you're a Metroid fan, this is a must-play fan game. Bloody Hell is a really amazing top-down Metroidvania. This game mixes bullet hell action with holy powers to create a fast, bloody, and super fun experience. The graphics look great for this type of game. The walls and enemies are covered in blood, making it really feel like you're fighting through hell. The controls are tight and smooth. You can dash, double dash, grapple, and blast your way through waves of demons without slowing down. One of the coolest parts is the world design. The map is big and connected, so exploring feels rewarding. The boss fights are another highlight. Each boss is more demonic and more chaotic than the last, and they make the game an absolute blast to play. Overall, Bloody Hell is a must-play for any Metroidvania fan looking for a high-quality game you can play for free. That's all for today's list. Subscribe and like for more new, exciting Metroidvania games. That's it, and see you next time.